Just want to go ahead and commemorate what happened yesterday in New Zealand. That happened with us 2 years ago, and it was something that really impacted us all. And I just want to go ahead and take a couple of seconds just to go ahead and commemorate what happened, just remembrance, because like what happened to them really happened to us as well too. So let's go ahead and take a couple moments to commemorate. Thank you. Thank you for being together.
I'd like to, please stay standing. We're going to do an invocation. I'd like to have our chairman, Dan Tafoya, come up.
Thank you, Peter. Lord, we stand before you today with humble hearts and open minds and open spirits. Please continue the great blessings that you have brought upon our city and our people. Let us be humble in our thoughts. Let us be kind in our words. Let us constantly seek your face and seek your peace. Either if our stomachs are full or empty, either if we are rich or poor, at all times let us be in your service, knowing that you're our God, you're our love, and you're our peace. In your holy name, we pray. Amen.
Okay. Be seated. And then if you want to announce some of the all the elected officials, I would say, can all the elected officials please stand?
So as we settle into our seats, I want to welcome you to our monthly Latin Chamber Luncheon. And of course, it seems like just yesterday that we were here. And you know what? I said something last year, Lord have mercy on the prey of the Golden Knights. Well, I say that for all our team. Lord have mercy on anybody who comes to Vegas and think they're going to win here, because we have some of the... That's right. That's right. That's right. Entertainment, sports capital of the world. I mean, we got this. One of those things that helps us do that is really great leadership. And I know we have a lot of elected officials with us today, some great leaders. If you're an elected official or if you're running for office, please stand and be recognized. Give us the way. Thanks for being with us today. Again, we have, you come to Latin Chamber and you never leave empty-handed. There's a new show on the Strip at the Excalibur called Fuerza Bruta, and it is just opening up, and guess what? 6 of you are going to get to go see this show. I don't know which 6 of you yet, but we'll determine that here in a few minutes. So thanks a lot for that MGM for presenting us with those offers today. Also, for those that like Selena, there's also 6 people are going to go see the Selena show today. Again, Boyd Gaming. Thank you. Yes, Boyd Gaming. Let's give it a hand for MGM and Boyd Gaming. I absolutely am enamored with the success this chamber has seen and will continue to see. And the formula is simple. Build good relationships, show people a good time, and be true to yourself. And I know somebody who just really emphasizes that in everything he does, and that's the chair. That is our president of the Latin Chamber. I call him Mr. Mini Las Vegas because Wayne Newton's still around, right? You know, and I, well, you know, you wouldn't want to be in trouble with Wayne anyway. But with no further ado, the man of the hour, Mr. Peter Guzman.
No. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to always recognize. No, whatever, you blew it. We're gonna have a meeting over this. Listen, you don't want to mess with Bill Lambier. Listen, I want to recognize Otto Merida, our founder, my mentor, my consigliere. There's some others that I want to just touch on real quick. Of course, the great friend for many, 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 many years. Now took a job. I think he hasn't settled in yet. He still looks a little startled. Took over a big position. Michael Brown, everybody knows Michael Brown. He brought the head of the boxing commission, athletic commission. I always say boxing because athletic commission, Mr. Bob Bennett. He's here with us. I'm going to try not to forget, but I'm going to keep going. My great friend, whose father was one of the pioneers early on, built Vegas World. Now it's called the Strat. It went from Stratosphere to the Strat now. Nevada Stupak, good friend of our chamber. We have the Consulado de Mexico, Don Alejandro Madrigal. Thank you, brother. Of course, our Lieutenant Governor got up. I'm so excited about the partnership with the Latin Chamber, and she has come in wanting to help small business and has some really, really great things that are going to be coming out that I know all the chambers are going to hear about. Thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Go ahead, set up. I want to say thank you to the Henderson Chamber. Yeah, we're in your neighborhood. I asked permission. I got permission. Where you at, Henderson Chamber? Thank you for allowing us to cross the line. I have my colleague from the Asian Chamber, Sonny. Sonny, thank you for being here. I see that we got the Hall of Famer here. Hall of Famer, best referee. Is there any other referees in here today? Because I know him and Richard Steele, they box. But Joe Cortez, man, this man's a Hall of Famer right here. Last but not least, I tweeted something out. Oh, I got my friend Shondell Newsom from the Urban Chamber here. I didn't even know. Shondell. You usually don't make a quiet entrance. And last but not least, so I tweeted something out, I think a month and a half ago about renaming our state bird. Our new bird is called the crane. It's called the crane because a crane represents economic development. And what you see is a bunch of cranes at Raider Stadium right now. That's our state bird from now on. I want everybody tweeting our new state bird. Latin Chamber said it's the crane, okay? Because that represents jobs. And that couldn't be done without our friends from the labor union right there building that stadium. So I'm just so excited to have this luncheon here, this partnership that we have with Nevada State College. And, sports is having such an impact on our community. Like real people, when you sit and you talk and you hear stories, from Tommy from the Laborers Union, where a lot of his men and women were not working and didn't know where the next check was coming from. And now you see that there's employees there, there's men and women working and earning good pay. And then you see the Vegas Golden Knights come into town and all the excitement, and we got a new stadium with our own aviators. How about them aviators? We have Brett from the lights. They brought llamas, for God's sakes, to this luncheon. They brought llamas. And those llamas were Latino. Just go with it, bro. The Speedway, a lot of exciting things coming up. Just past Speedway. Brings millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. And then, of course, we got our own very own professional women's basketball, led by a two-time NBA champion. By the way, as big as he is, you cannot find any video of him dunking. The man never dunked. See how mad they get? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's just an exciting time. We're going to talk economic impact here. Before we do, we're going to hear from some great friends. I can't thank Nevada State College enough. The students you see standing around, that's our future. Give them a hand. One of them actually came up and said, we really look forward to you guys coming back. And I'm like, well, how many years have you been here? Some of my last year, so that's good. But I thank all of you. I thank all the staff and the help. Amy, where's it? Is it Amy had to leave? She had to leave, huh? Amy, you are a rock star. Thank you, Amy. Edith, who's going to come up in a moment. Edith, thank you so much. You do so much hard work. So just grateful. And of course, Barb Patterson, we're just grateful to have you at this wonderful, I don't know how many have been here for the first time. How many, is this your first time up in Nevada State College? It's a great place. It's a great place. Great place. I want to thank my colleagues. I have some colleagues that I'm working really, really hard with. They care about Nevada, and they quietly work on policies, different kind of issues. My friends Council for Better Nevada, led by Maureen. I see Duncan Lee's here, Tom Kaplan. I love working with you guys. Thank you for being here. With that, I want to introduce a hard-working man who's been working up here at Nevada State College, still tries to call it a startup and new. You've been here. This thing's been here 16 years, so that's over now. I want to see dorms, because the only reason why my daughter left town was because you didn't have dorms. But you're going to tell us we're going to have dorms soon, right? Yeah. I love it. Everybody give a round of applause to Bart Patterson.
Thanks, Peter. It's such an honor to host the event, but it's particularly for me to sort of take the mic from my friend Peter Guzman and Dan and Otto and just really all the people at the Latin Chamber from now and way back in the day helped us build this organization. We signed a memorandum of agreement with the Latin Chamber back when I came on board in 2011. And that has made all the difference for the institution. I want to quickly give a couple of shout outs, and then I will tell you a little bit about the college. I think it's going to be exciting before the panelists speak. So first of all, I definitely want to recognize my bosses, the Board of Regents, who are here today with us today. We have Regent Carol DiCarlo from Incline Village, and then we have 3 Las Vegas area regents, Regent Laura Perkins, Regent Sam Lieberman, and Regent Amy Carvalho. Thank you so much for being here and supporting the college. And then there's 2 special people I'd also like to acknowledge. Now, if you haven't heard, Nevada State College was included in the governor's budget in 2 ways. Yeah, that's right. That you did. Thank you. Yesterday we had our capital improvement hearing, and seemed to go pretty well, I think. They had a lot of questions, but it was a very positive feeling in the room. And so we have slated in the budget a new education building for Nevada State College, which will be much needed to build our education program. Thank you. We need to have more homegrown teachers, we need to fill the teacher shortage, and we need more teachers of color going into the classroom. That is going to make all the difference in this valley. In addition to that, we are also part of the CSN Health Sciences Building project. We will share about 25% of that building, and that is also slated to be in the governor's budget and be approved on the Henderson campus here. Those are the only 2 higher education projects that are in the budget right now. Hopefully they might find a little bit of money at the end and be able to fund some other projects that are very important for UNLV and some of the other institutions in planning money, but we'll see. We're excited to be in this position. So I want to just briefly give a shout out to one of the college's longtime supporters and friends, donors and time and all the things that he does, and that's Bobby Ellis here in the front. Thank you for all you do for education. And then I want to acknowledge that Jeff Cooper is here, who also serves on the foundation for the Engelstadt Foundation. They were the lead gift in the Health Sciences building that made that building a reality. So I definitely want to acknowledge the Engelstadt Foundation and Jeff for your work in building our community, really. Thank you. All right, let me quickly tell you about the college, and then I'll wrap up. So first of all, we have had, in the last 2 years, I just want to give you these numbers because they're so astounding. We'd have a 57% increase in Asian students here on campus. Yeah. We have a 91% increase in freshman African American students on campus in the last 2 years. And I think you know what's next. We have a 108% increase in Hispanic students here on campus in the last 2 years. And these are, a lot of these are first generation kids going to college for the first time. Many of them are low income, and we love those kids. There's nothing more important to the college than those kids. And we see potentially the build out of club sports and things on campus as a way to keep those freshmen here, stay engaged, and graduate. So we couldn't be more excited to host this event. All right, I will wrap up and would like to introduce you to someone who's very important for the college, the Associate Vice President here, Edith Fernandez.
Thank you, thank you. It's my pleasure to present to you Congressman Stephen Horsford, and I have to tell you that I used to be his district director, and I've never seen someone so hardworking. And in doing that hard work, I witnessed firsthand what Stephen has done for families here in Nevada. I've seen him working on accessing affordable health care, gun control, background checks, immigration reform, reducing the school-to-prison pipeline, and that's just a few issues. He's really invested in making sure that there is a safety net for our children and our families here in Nevada to help them succeed. Stephen is a principled leader. He's focused on job creation and community development. He's not only a native Nevadan, he's a family man. He's a hardworking guy. I need to say that over and over again. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome him to the stage, Stephen Horsford.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. Thank you for that overly generous introduction. The rest of the story that Dr. Edith Fernandez did not share was that we went to college together at the University of Nevada, Reno as freshmen. She went on to do much bigger things than I have in my life. Seriously, she went on to get her doctorate degree, which I'm very proud of her. But I remember as freshmen getting to know her and her love and commitment to individuals and making sure that we live out our purpose in our life. And she encouraged me even back then as a college student and has continued to do so, I know, for hundreds and thousands of students here at Nevada State College and throughout the system. So I want to commend her, President Bart Patterson, for being smart enough to hire her. And to all of you for being here. It's great to be home from DC. It's a lot brighter and shinier and warmer here than it is in DC. I want to say hello to the Lieutenant Governor, Kate Marshall, to the Secretary of State, Barbara Sagaski. Good to see you. To my friends in the Board of Regents. You know, this is a partnership. We can't do any of this by ourselves. And today, you guys have a pretty incredible panel. I came here, I guess it was a year or two ago when we had a similar panel that the Latin Chamber put on. So I know you're here to hear from them and their wonderful, exciting programs and projects that are underway. But I just wanted to come by and give a few brief remarks. And first, I want to start by saying thank you to the Latin Chamber of Commerce, to Peter for your invitation, and the friendship, to Otto for your leadership over the years. And I just want to give 3 quick updates. First, this week we introduced, and I'm proud to be the original sponsor of H.R. 6, which is the Dream and Promise Act of 2019. It's the Dreamers Bill, and also to provide temporary protective status, permanent status, along with legal permanent residency and a process for people to earn a legal process to stay here. And so I'm proud to have been a sponsor of that legislation. And I told Dr. Fernandez I will get the information to her, because the cornerstone of what it instills is education, service to our community, particularly our military, and working to contribute to our communities. So these are cornerstones to providing this pathway to legal permanent status here. And I know we have tens of thousands of young people, many of whom are students here at Nevada State College, who are earning their way to this process and are yearning for an opportunity to become full contributing members of our society. So I'm going to work with you, Dr. Fernandez, to make sure you have that information. I know you all have the Dream.us scholarship program, which provides scholarships to young people here. And that's very, very important. The other thing I wanted to share with you is that based on my new assignments in Congress, I've been appointed to the Ways and Means Committee, which is the tax writing committee, but we also deal with health care, Social Security, Medicare, child care assistance, as well as unemployment assistance. So working with small business owners, working with the private sector, we really want to advance some policies that can help move our communities forward. I am going to be introducing legislation dealing with driving down the cost of prescription medications, particularly around transparency for insulin cost. And so I'll be sharing that information with the Latin Chamber. I reached out to you to make sure before I even got on a bill dealing with the healthcare plans that it was something that was going to be good for our small businesses. And I want to thank the Latin Chamber and the Urban Chamber for doing that. The last thing, and I see the sign, is you gave a politician a mic. I can't. Is, you know, we talk about us being the entertainment capital of the world, but now with these incredible sports programs, we really are the entertainment and sports capital of the world. And we want to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to help these programs thrive and succeed. I know that they are very focused on making sure that they are fully contributing members of our community in every single way, from workforce to supplier engagement, to making sure that their programs really reflect the diversity of our communities. And I want to commend the leadership of each one of your programs, not just on the success in the game, but in the success for our community. So thank you again for all of your leadership. Thank you again for having me here. Maggie is here with our office, so if you have any questions, constituent issues, or needs, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office. We're here to serve. Thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Dan? Sorry about that. We got a little gift for you. All right. Sorry, Dan. But you did call me Minnie. Right there. We just want to, say thank you. Always, you've been a good friend of the chamber.
Mr. Stephen Horsford, today, March 15th, 2019, the Latin Chamber celebrates you and your accomplishments as our U.S. Representative for Nevada District 4. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Please filter that before you tweet it. Okay, guys, we're going to keep going. Before we go, we're almost there. I want to give a shout out. There's no person in the world more important than our veterans. And Arnie and the veterans right over there, Veterans Village. Thank you, Arnie, for all you do. Arnie. So with that, I want to get the panel started. Those who don't know our moderator, he is best known for "It's Nighttime." I didn't do very good. Oh, God. I hope you do a little better than that. He's with the Vegas Golden Knights. He starred in the smash hit Rock of Ages right here at the Venetian. I saw him. You were good. And he has a grassroots, very important, seriously, on a serious side, he has a grassroots organizations, Monday's Dark. It's raised over $1 million. And you become a very good friend of ours, this chamber. You always say yes. We're honored to have you here. So I'm going to let you take it over. This is our moderator, Mark Chinook.
Thanks, Peter. It's an honor for me to be back here. I was here last year and it was a great lunch. And when you asked me to come back, I said absolutely, to share the stage with these fine gentlemen. Nothing better. It's a special afternoon, as you all know. That's why you're all here. So let me introduce them. And I guess we'll start right here because I see him the most out of everybody else. The president of the Vegas Golden Knights, Mr. Kerry Booballs. The president of the Raiders, Mr. Mark Bedane. Coach and president of basketball operations of our Las Vegas Aces, Mr. Bill Lambier. General manager and vice president of marketing for the, it says here Las Vegas 51s, but I know that's a typo. That's the Aviators, Chuck Johnson. The owner of our Las Vegas Lights Football Club, Mr. Brett Lashbrook. And VP of Public Relations of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Mr. Jeff Motley. Let's just jump right in, guys. Grab your microphones. You heard everybody who spoke prior to us starting that Las Vegas has been thrown into the national spotlight with pro sports taking over the city. It's been called the entertainment capital of the world, and truly now with sports, it's putting it over the top. First question. How does your team measure its economic impact on the local community, first off? And what successes can you point to that have impacted the community the most? So just to quickly repeat, how does your team measure its economic impact on the local community? And how can you point to what it has impacted the most here in Vegas? Let's start in the middle with Bill. Bill Lambier.
All right. As far as the measuring the impact, I don't think we're there yet. We started last year on a real fast timetable, but I think our impact on the financial of the community is going to be that we're going to drive basketball in this town. We all know, all of you that have been here a long time, I remember I was recruited by Tarkanian way back when. We all know that the Running Rebels turned this town inside out. They made it a tremendous success, a lot of excitement, and it's kind of lost its way as a town. But with all due respect, it's not a football town and it's not a hockey town. It's a basketball town. But it just needs some support. And once we have some successes, I think it'll drive all of us in the basketball world, including UNLV. We're going to do as much as we can to help them. As far as our impact on the community, up to the point, our players do 10 appearances each in the community by contract. The NBA, they don't only do one unless you pay them a lot of money. But we also have our launching our Give and Go ticket program. We have a lot of corporate sponsors that have bought a lot of tickets, and they're looking for a vehicle to give away into the town. We will not give away free tickets; they're all sold tickets. So we have a program for 501c3s, underprivileged children, abused shelters, et cetera, that we're going to find. We have a vehicle in order to give those away this year. We're looking to give away a lot of significant amount of tickets, maybe up to 1,000 per game. So that's a big excitement for us. That's what we're looking forward to doing.
It's not a football town or a hockey town. You think the two of us could take him?
No.
Probably not. It's a broad question, so I'll try and answer just in a couple ways. Obviously, the investments that we're making and the state is making in the stadium for a couple $2 billion, as well as the practice facility. You look at the economic impact that brings, and then once you're up and running, it's a massive operation, and the stadium facility for this market is really the final piece, I think, to cap all the infrastructure that exists here. And the response we've been getting, not just for Raider games, but for other events that want to come here that have never been able to come here because the facility didn't exist. And that was really the impetus behind the project. It was one of the reasons why the legislation was passed, and it's proving to be very, very successful. We're going to have every event that you can think of coming to town, and starting with one that doesn't even have to do with the facility, but because of the move and the investment from the community, we're getting the NFL draft here in 2020, which is just going to be a massive event. Which is it's great for tourism. It's also great for the locals. It's an event that the league has moved around, and you see the local community really turn out. And I think it's going to be a great opening event for this market. I'll pass the mic on in a second. When you talk about the economic impact, there are obviously things that you can quantify, like the stadium and those types of things, but then there's things you can't quantify, and I'll give you an example. we looked at a study a few years ago. What would the value be to somebody who took the name away from the city? So instead of being the Oakland Raiders or the Las Vegas Raiders, you were the Gatorade Raiders. What would that be worth to a company to get the media rights and the eyeballs? Instead of seeing OAK or LV, you saw GAT. And obviously TV drives the majority of that, but we hired Nielsen and Repucom, who's the best in the business, and they said it's conservatively in the Bay Area, it was $75 million, and then we did it again in Vegas, and it was $110 million. And I don't know if it's the right number. I don't know if it's low. I don't know if it's high. I don't know if you could get someone to pay for it. But you can't tell me that the impact of my guy here on the right and what they did for this community last year isn't worth hundreds of millions of dollars, just in terms of exposure and what it meant for the city and what it meant for the brand and what it meant for this community. It took the world by storm. So while you can quantify certain things, there are other things that are non-quantifiable that sports teams and sports entities really bring to a community.
Chuck? Especially with the development now of our new stadium in downtown Summerlin.
Yeah, we're pretty.
You got to eat it a little bit. Yeah,
Oh,
you're
we got to
good.
get up here. We got to get in here. We're pretty fortunate that over the past 12 months, we've been working on a $120 million stadium. So to see the impact of that is easy to talk about. But in our history with our 70 home games, we had a job fair just a month ago, where we had over 3,000 people come out searching for the part-time jobs that will exist at the ballpark, either in concessions or if on our game day staff. So it's easy to kind of point towards those things as an annual element of impact. We were instrumental in helping the Major League Baseball winter meetings come to Las Vegas, and hopefully we're on track to bring the winter meetings back again in a few years. So that's another angle that we've been able to assist and help with the impact. You know, as a small minor league team, you know, we're very proud to do this. You know, Mark did a great job of explaining what's going on. You know, our facility is going to be a seventh of the size in terms of attendance. Quite a bit less in terms of overall budget, but the impact is still there for a minor league baseball team to come into the city and have the impact. We play 15 other teams across our league, and just a great thing to say about the impact of having Las Vegas across and what that value is to the city as we move along.
Jeff?
I think probably we're in a little bit of a different situation than most everyone else up here. I think Mark's probably going to find out when he's trying to book his stadium for the ancillary events, not the Raiders. We're very dependent on people coming from out of town. So we probably can measure maybe the hard dollars part a little bit better than some of the others. I know most everybody up here wants to have people from Las Vegas attending their games to support the home team. We're drawing approximately 80% of our fans from out of town. So we're doing more than $100 million in economic impact on one NASCAR weekend alone. And you throw in the fact that our entire facility, it's 1,100 acre facility, we have more than 1,400 events over the course of the year. We probably have 5 or 6 events now on a smaller scale, not like NASCAR that's going on out there right now. But our 2 NHRA national events are on Fox. We've got a NASCAR weekend that's on Fox and a NASCAR weekend that's on NBC. NASCAR thought enough to bring 2 races to Las Vegas, to start their playoffs in Las Vegas, to bring their playoff media day to Las Vegas. And anybody that noticed the fact that they shut down the entire Las Vegas Strip to have the cars doing burnouts down the Strip and the intersection of the Strip and Spring Mountain Road, and put it on NBC Sports Network. So they actually televised it live. Also, because of the magnitude of the events, we're probably hiring close to 2,000 game day workers, whether that's parkers or ushers, or whether it's the volunteer groups, the non-for-profits that run the concession stands and that also run the souvenir stands. So there's more ancillary value there, and I think as long as, and us being a special events facility as opposed to being a local team, it's easier for us to measure that. But I think it's also, and not specifically with us, I just think it's very important to also bring up the way that this entire group, everybody you see sitting up here on this dais, we all work together. like no other city. And I want to bring up one thing. Eric Tozy, who runs communications for the Golden Knights, he came from Boston where he had worked for the Bruins. And we met one day and we talked about the cooperation that we find in this city with sports. And he said, we certainly did not have that in Boston. And I've never heard of it anywhere. And he was blown away by what we have here in Las Vegas. And I think that's just a great testament to everybody sitting up here, as well as a number of the sports teams or sports organizations that are not represented up here, but we're all on the same team and we're all working together.
So I think there's a nice bow that we can put on all these answers, right? If the original question is the economic impact of sports and how do you measure it, and Carrie and others have said this so eloquently, we are no longer the entertainment capital of the world. We are the sports and entertainment capital of the world. Sports is entertainment, and no one would question entertainment's importance in this community of driving economic development, and sports is a huge part of that entertainment. And so I think that kind of wraps it all together, right? We are just like the hotel and the tourism and travel industry. We are bringing vitality and life to our community that for so long, for hypocrisy of sports betting and everything else, that so many leagues wouldn't be allowed to come here. We are now all here, and we're so proud of making this the sports and entertainment capital of the world. And that, my friends, is driving economic impact.
I'll add to the bow just to finish it off. Because all the numbers matter, right? They do matter. The payroll of all of our employees, the part-time employees, the full-time, our players and athletes, that all matters. I would also add that getting back to the sports and entertainment capital, I think it's important as a narrative and as a city that we share this data as we're talking to other people. One that is literally happening right now. So think about every other market around the country. They may have one college basketball championship happening in their city. Kansas City, Cleveland. This is playing out all over the U.S. We have 4 right here in Las Vegas. They're happening literally right now as we speak. 4 college basketball championships. That's a big deal. It kind of adds to what we're talking about here. But then next week, and I think this is really big, you talk about the NCAA basketball tournament. It's March Madness, right? It's huge. It's big. People are interested. Even if you don't follow college basketball, you follow you follow March Madness. So next week they'll have 8 regional tournaments, and they'll primarily be sold out at all the games. But if you add up all of the people that go to those 8 regional tournaments, it would not equal the number of people that are going to fly to Las Vegas to watch the college basketball tournament, right? Over 300,000 people are going to come to our city. So that narrative of sports and entertainment, I think, is real. It's not just the teams that are physically here. It's all of the other sports that people are taking in as they come into our city. And obviously during the Super Bowl, you had I think there were 314,000 people. I had tweeted out, sorry, Atlanta, there's more people here watching the Super Bowl than watching it actually in Atlanta. And wait till it comes here. I mean, it's just going to be fantastic. But to me, like, all this stuff matters. And then the last part is how it brings our community together in a different way. And I think, to me, that's the most important economic value sports can bring, because it builds confidence. And when you have confidence as a community, you can do anything.
Perfect. A couple of you hit on this, and I want to talk about this for a quick second. The Strip, right? It's our home. I'm now here 6 years, and when I moved to Vegas, the intention my wife and I had was, I'm going to do a 6-month contract with Rock of Ages. I'm going to do this show for 6 months, and I'm going to move back to California. Well, we know how that worked out. I'm still here almost 7 years later, and my impression, my view of what's happening is, when I walked into the Palazzo every day and said hello to the pit boss that I knew, the crap dealer that I knew, the janitor that walked by, we were all part of a team. And I think what's happening now with the word sports being thrown into the mix, it's just truly an extension of that team. When that Strip works, when these teams work, our city works. With that, I'm going to transition into this next question. How can Latino businesses, small, medium, large, extra large, get involved, stay involved, and be involved on even possibly a larger level with your organizations? And let's just start down at the end and work our way down.
Well, I think I kind of mentioned earlier, first off, we have so many non-for-profit organizations that are able to come out and work some of the events. I mean, we're always hiring. I mean, it depends on what the job. I mean, we may not necessarily have a lot of full-time jobs that come open on a regular basis, but we have so much event related opportunities. And there's so many of them. And like I said, with 1,400 events, and so kind of forget about the 2 NASCAR races or forget about the 2 NHRA events. The number of corporate events, the number of driving schools, all of these type events, they need people. They need people here locally. They need local organizations that are, whether they're organizing committees to help these groups, whether they're tour operators, whether they're destination management, marketing folks. There's all kinds of opportunities. And there's people coming to, 300,000 people almost every week that is coming to Las Vegas. And all those people are looking for places to do events and are looking for people here locally to help them put those events together. And we host a number of those. Like I said, we're hosting corporate events. There's probably 3 or 4 going on out there today. So I think there's a number of ways to get involved, not just on the big scale, but also on the smaller scale, whether it's the corporate events, the marketing events, and things like that.
So Bill says it's a basketball town. I say, but soccer is the sport of the people, Bill, right? And so, we have an incredibly diverse community. And I believe being a soccer team and being the world sport gives us this really unique platform to really bring together both the Hispanic Latino crowd and the quote-unquote gringo crowd, right? And coming all together like we all are here today. And soccer, especially as sports, has grown so much so quickly here, especially the Lights FC and the platform of soccer has given a really interesting platform to local Hispanic businesses, right? And I'll think of 2 that we've partnered with. And their goal is to get not just be viewed as a Hispanic business, but to be viewed as a Las Vegas business, right? And one is La Bonita Supermarkets, right? Everyone in the Hispanic Latino community knows that they've been here for generations and generations, but they've partnered with us in a view of how do we expand? How do we grow our brand? How do we do stuff? And using sports as that platform. They've just opened a new store right here in Henderson, right? And I like to think that the Lights are part of that process of really helping the Latino and Hispanic family-run businesses. The other example that I would give, even though they're a billion-dollar business, we have just partnered with Jarritos Soda, an incredible billion-dollar Mexican soda company, right, that is looking to get into the Las Vegas market, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone here, especially in the Mexican community, knows what that is, right? But we're using sports as a platform to break down those barriers and to get into across the valley. So when you look about how can sports help, it's not just on the field, it's not just on community programs, but it's also helping Hispanic businesses, right? And using our platform or sports to be able to do additional good.
We all have businesses that we need help with. If it's providing content, providing services, the opportunities out there exist. Sometimes, and to be honest, the struggles are for business owners is breaking down that door. We're a baseball team that's been around for 37 seasons when we open up on April 4th on the road. A lot of relationships. Our president's been with the team for 36 years. I've been over 20 plus years. The relationship that exists, can sometimes be a wall to allow some new businesses to come in and take advantage of things that we may need help with or provided. But you've got a wonderful marketer and sales guy down here, Peter Guzman, and I know he will do as much as possible for any small, medium, large business here in the Latin Chamber or any chamber to come out and, be that first step, open the door for you. Peter has my phone number, my email. He follows me on Twitter, so, there's all kinds of angles where he can get a hold of us.
Thanks for the extra pressure.
But sometimes, and just honestly, that's the toughest part is making that phone call to reach out and know that you're going to try to butt heads up a long-time relationship in the business. But I suggest I encourage it. We deal with it every day, and any other kind of help. But we all have services that we can utilize. You all have businesses that might be able to benefit. Jeff said it great about taking care of the ancillary stuff. Our new ballpark, we have to do 100+ events in this ballpark. We know that 70 of them are going to be Las Vegas Aviators baseball games. So there's other events that are going to come through there, and maybe it's an opportunity for somebody out there to take that lead and find something to utilize an outdoor facility that's brand new, that has a swimming pool and center field and fun stuff like that.
Well, we just got here last year. We're Johnny-come-latelys. And the one thing that we are uniquely different than everybody else up here and their teams is We're a team of all women. Now that in itself creates a lot of opportunity. We all know, especially in today's world, the power of women is growing exponentially. They're not only their power of persuasion, but also their economic power is continuing to grow. So it's a great opportunity for any business in town to, develop unique opportunities with our team, with our players. They're very intelligent players. They're all college graduates. They want to embrace the town. We have 5 players right now that are in a very short seasonal season are looking for a home to buy in Las Vegas. They really embrace this place. They really enjoy it and looking forward to the future. So I think one of the great things one of our missteps last year, we had to launch so fast and we had so many people who were so busy. At the end of the season, we sat down and we did a review of what our opportunities were and what we missed. And one of the things that was we had a disconnect with the Latino community. We never really tried to punch into the community and try to take advantage of any opportunities for ticket sales or for marketing purposes. And that's one of the missed opportunities we had last year. And it's one of our initiatives we're having going forward. We're having a Latino night this year. I think it'll be a very big success with some good entertainment. But I think that was a missed opportunity, and it's something that we're looking to expand going forward. And we'd love to have any of the ideas. We have a great staff at our place. Any ideas you have to partner up with us, or any ideas for us to more penetrate into the Latino community, both community relations or us helping other businesses, we're all ears.
I'm about to give Peter some more shameless plugs, which he obviously doesn't need, but Peter's a member of the Community Benefits Oversight Committee, which was an entity created as part of the legislation for the stadium project. And it had 2 main metrics. One, that as part of the construction project, at least 15% of the work go to women and minority business enterprises, and we're currently at 19%. And I think more importantly, the workforce on the job site, they put in a requirement of 38%, we're at 68%. So I knew we'd have no problem crushing those numbers, but it's about more than that. It's about what we continue to do once the stadium's open, and we're going to be a facility that wants to have 100+ events as well and drive millions of tourists and people into that building on a year-over-year basis. And you can just imagine the jobs that we're going to need there, as well as the jobs we're going to need at our Henderson practice facility. And we're a very large operation and need vendors for every single thing that you could think of. And a few months ago, I reached out to Peter because over the next 18 months, we'll be moving about 300 people here between players, coaches, and the remainder of our staff. And they're all going to need help, and they're all going to need realtors, and they're going to need movers, and they're going to need to know where their dry cleaner is, and they're going to need to know where their life is going to be. And the majority of them are going to settle around our practice facility in Henderson, but they'll be all over the valley. And Peter was kind enough to give me a list of vendors that we can trust and we can rely on, and that's who the Raiders really are. We'll be a part of that community. From a Latino standpoint, because I know that's where the conversation started, the Raiders have always been the #1 team in terms of Hispanic fan base, going back decades. And some of that was from the days when we had the first Hispanic head coach in Tom Flores and the first Hispanic Super Bowl winning quarterback in Jim Plunkett. But it's always been a big part of our DNA and a big part of who we are. And it means a lot to the Davis family and to the Raider fan base. And when the games start playing here, for those of you that have been to games, whether in Oakland or Los Angeles, you see that enthusiasm and you see that love for the team and that family type of environment, both in the tailgating and in the stadium, and that'll continue here.
I think, as an organization in our first year, as I kind of look back, I don't know that we did a great job of really being inclusive the way that our expectations were as an organization. And so after that first year, we really sat down and said, what are the pillars that we need to put into place to really make sure that we're doing this the right way? And so we've worked closely with some folks to help give us the direction and the guidance to do it the right way and make sure it's done with the right kind of sensitivity, but also focus. And so I'm proud that we've got pillars established. One of those pillars speaks directly to the Latino community and what we're trying to do there. As it relates to the question about the businesses that are out there, we want to make it as easy as possible. If you have a business and a product that you think might be relevant to the Golden Knights and what we do, reach out to us. We're in the business of saying yes because you challenge people every day. You never know where that next great idea might come from, so don't assume just because we already have an existing vendor or whatever that it's not a better product or idea. So we want to try and make that part of it very easy. I think the other thing that we've done is we've recently signed up with the Western, let me make sure I'm saying it right, the Western Regional Minority Supplier Diversity Council to help us, again, make sure we have available vendors when we are making sourcing decisions and giving our team internally the right tools to make sure that they're not only going through a process of looking for the best price and the best service, but making sure that we're inclusive as well. And so we just recently joined that organization. And then I think lastly, you may have read, we're going to be partnering with the city of Henderson for another facility that we're very excited about on Water Street. We've got some more work to do to get that together, but if all things go well, this summer we'll break ground on another fairly significant investment around the game of hockey, another community center. But we're going to need, there's going to be a lot of opportunity as we look to build that facility in Henderson. So we've already worked closely with our general contractor to put language in place that says you're also going to be accountable to make sure that we're looking at diverse organizations and in building that facility. So we're working hard. I don't think we did a great job in that first year, but this is important to us. The Latino community has been very, very, very supportive of the Golden Knights, and we're very appreciative of that. And then lastly, just because I want to plug it real quick, you can now follow us on Twitter. We have our the first ever in the National Hockey League Spanish language social media accounts. Just launched on Monday, so Los Golden Knights is our Instagram account, and Los VGK is our Twitter account, and that'll be just another way that we can continue to try and be authentic in getting the Golden Knights message out. So follow us and give us feedback. If it's not compelling and it's not good content, we want to hear about it because we want to make it great. So thank you.
Just don't let me have access to the account, and I'm sure that the content will be fine. I think we can all say that the fact that each and every one of the gentlemen on this panel took a second to tell you that they're never satisfied, they're always working, they're always looking at ways to improve is truly commendable. So round of applause to all of you for literally letting us go there. The word infrastructure has been tossed around this afternoon. We've heard it a lot. Everybody says the word. Roadways, public safety. As just a citizen of the city, I look around and go, great, my house is going up. The value's going up. There's stuff coming. There's development going on everywhere. But I want to toss the question to you now. Is there specific investment needed in certain areas of infrastructure to ensure that your organizations can be successful? And I think we'll start with Mark, with obviously the biggest development happening right now that we pass every day.
I always get a parking question, don't I? We are working on some parking solutions and acquiring some additional parcels for parking. So I'm not too concerned about it. I get this question a lot, and I'm coming from an area that really doesn't invest in infrastructure. At least it seems to be playing catch up in Northern California. And you come here and you see. Peter said it before, the state birds of the crane, you see construction everywhere, and they seem to be getting ahead of it. Some mass transit is probably the next phase of infrastructure. You've seen the discussions with the Boring Company. We were actually fortunate to be part of a tour down there last summer. It's very forward-thinking, obviously, but a pretty simple concept that could really change some transportation needs around the congestion of the Strip. The monorail project that obviously you hear people talking about is important, some of the flyovers. So I would just say, because of where all the economic activity tends to congregate on the Strip, the continued investment around that area, and the RTC does a good job of it, and NDOT's doing a good job, at least the conversations we've been a part of. This community is really forward-thinking and smart about looking ahead to what they need, and they just need to continue to invest in those areas.
Yeah, I think Mark said it well. What we've seen and the folks that we've interacted with, I think they've been incredibly forward-thinking as it relates to this. We were fortunate as we went through our process of launching our team going back to a year ago. That was one of our biggest concerns is, do we have the infrastructure necessary to make sure that it's a good experience for our fans that are primarily coming locally down to T-Mobile for our games? And we just had incredible support. The regional transit group was spectacular, the Metro group, the police department, all of the casino operators. I mean, it really was a team effort. And so from a logistical perspective, what was probably my biggest concern about opening night turned out to be not one at all. And so I think the great news is you got a lot of folks locally that this stuff's important, that experience is important, and they take the time to get it right.
Jeff, let's go down to you.
I think in terms of the Speedway, there's really not a lot anymore for us to really look to. And we've been very fortunate. I've been here a little over 20 years. We've seen Las Vegas Boulevard widen from one lane in each direction to being able to use 4 lanes going into our races. We've had Interstate 15 has been widened. The entire interstate, I think if anybody's been here for 20 years, has been widened, but in particular, we've been able to add 3 lanes in each direction to and from the Speedway at Craig Road. We've added another exit lane off the interstate and onto the interstate. So we've been really fortunate that there have been a number of highway projects that have benefited us in that area, and we have great relationships with all of our government entities, all of our law enforcement agencies. Honestly, from our standpoint, we're thrilled with where we are right now. I know probably more than anything, Mark's the one that's most affected by any type thing that's going on right now, infrastructure-wise, because that is a new project. Because when the Speedway was built, the very first race, and I know I see Ron Kentowski standing over here from the RJ, he may have been at that IndyCar race in '96. I don't even think they had the exit ramp done. And I mean, it was only 35 or 40,000 people there, and they all had to use Las Vegas Boulevard to get in. So when the Speedway was built, we were facing that situation, and we've had to grow over the course of time. And Mark's got the new, and Chuck, he's got a new ballpark up there too. And if you go to downtown Summerlin, there's always a lot of traffic there. Now throw in, I mean, his opening night down there, I mean, it's going to be something new. It's going to be something different. People are going to have to learn new traffic patterns and things like that. So I think probably they're the two right now that are going to be facing the biggest challenges to keep up with it.
So I would add, to state the obvious, great infrastructure makes great cities make world-class cities, right? And we have an advantage in our community that no one else has, is sports tourism. Look what Kerry talked about. 300,000 people come in here to watch TV about basketball in other cities, right? Those cities are bragging that they're hosting the tournament, but the people are coming here to watch them. Think about that, right? And we all have great support from our governmental partners. I would, and it'll sound selfish, I would encourage us to continue to invest in sports tourism. We have an enormous advantage being in the platform of Las Vegas to bring additional events, and those events are going to bring people that are staying in our hotels and in our restaurants and all the infrastructure that then is going to create more money back into our community, which is going to create a better lifestyle for us. And you can go along the line up here and look at all the events from the NFL draft and the second NASCAR race, us bringing in Major League Soccer preseason, bringing in more Major League Baseball teams. It's a circular effect, and I don't think we should ever lose sight of the economic value that this is driving to create more infrastructure, and that infrastructure is what's giving you and your families and your kids a better lifestyle here in beautiful, beautiful Las Vegas or Henderson.
Chuck, do you want to quickly chime in here? Because I know that he mentioned downtown Summerlin now with a 10,000 seat brand new ballpark. Do you have any concerns with the opening in, what is it, 3 weeks?
A little bit more than 3 weeks, but not much. No, it's all stated wonderfully by everybody involved here tonight. That things can and will be done. When you look at where our ballpark's situated in downtown Summerlin, we are working to increase the access. So now there's 4 or 5 east-west arterials coming into the property. The advantages of what Kerry was able to do and what the Speedway does, and I'm sure that what Mark will be able to do with the RTC and start to lean on that great regional transportation commission to try to alleviate some of those things by having buses depart from around the city at a very economical way to get there. I've heard nothing but compliments of friends that have jumped on an RTC bus and gone to a Golden Knights game. the speed of getting there, the ease of getting out. Those are going to be important aspects. And if we can, develop other programs through other mass transit would be fantastic to these. And I look at the benefits of what the amount of people that the Speedway brings in, the amount of really weekly attendance almost that the Raiders will have, and then the 40 nights that what Kerry goes through. These are all important. They're high volume events, and then plus the other events that will continue to come in and will only get bigger with Las Vegas Stadium on the horizon.
So, go ahead, Bill.
Infrastructure, big word for an athlete. When I got here, when I got here, everybody asked me, "What's Las Vegas like?" I said, "It's a big, small town, and anywhere in 15 minutes. I'm an East Sider, and I got 6-lane highways going through the neighborhood. You can get anywhere you want to real fast. It's phenomenal. And so the parking was one thing I was hoping someone was going to bring up, but overall, it's an enjoyable place to be. You can get around really easy. As far as the Aces is concerned, we're going to build a practice center, not only for ourselves but also for the community. We did a large, extensive search about all the gyms in this area in order to look at some to maybe take over or to help out and expand. There really wasn't a whole lot of new quality gyms in this town in order to support basketball growing. And one thing we found, AAU tournaments are leaving because there's not enough quality gyms. So we're going to build a multi-facility where not only for basketball with multiple courts, but also for volleyball and other events that we can put in there. So that would be our contribution to the infrastructure.
That's great. Bill, prior to all of our Golden Knights games, our entertainment team actually meets in the bowels of T-Mobile, and it's in NBA Locker Room 1. And when I'm there for the meetings, I can actually stand on the Cubbies bench, and my head doesn't touch the top shelf. So I can actually fit right in one of those NBA lockers. So I'm excited. And NBA may be right around the corner, right? And we'll build more parking lots for them. One last question before we open it up to the floor. And it's an opportunity for you guys to brag a little bit. We're so excited, and we love the fact that sports has come to town, and some of these sports have been here for decades. What is your favorite part about how your organization gives back on the philanthropic side? Some of the programs maybe that you've partnered with, some of the places where you've given outreach. I just want to hear from you guys because it's such a big part of the community. It's what I've embraced in my time here. I love the opportunity to give back, but you guys are able to affect change on a much larger scale than anybody else really here, other than maybe the Engelstad Foundation, because they really take over the city. But you guys, what are some of the things that you're most proud of? We can start right here, Carrie, and we'll just go straight down.
I talk about this a lot because I love the fact that we had success on the ice. The winning is great, but it's not what gets me out of bed every morning. What gets me out of bed is running into that person at the game and they say, "Thank you for what you guys do for our community." And that is the best compliment that we can receive, and a lot of it gets back to what I like to call the golden thread in terms of how we can kind of bring people that maybe didn't know each other. So whether it's at a game or at a bar and a restaurant and they're watching the game, or at the local neighborhood that they have people over on a Friday night to watch the game, and then the next night they go somewhere else. Like that connection to me is what I enjoy most about what we do. On a more specific basis, being able to build the game at the youth level, we had 4,000 kids just in the last year learn how to skate. They never skated before. And before you can ever teach a kid how to play hockey, you got to teach them how to get on a pair of skates, how to put them on, how to stand up, how to fall down. And that really is the beginning of the matrix for how you start to develop the game in an area that really didn't have a lot of hockey. And so we're really proud of what's happening at the youth level. Probably our biggest challenge now, two really unique challenges. we don't have enough people that know how to coach the game. So we have more kids and more games, but we don't have enough coaches that are qualified to do it. And then an even more important challenge is we don't have enough people that can actually referee the games that we have. So we're actually flying referees in from Phoenix and LA to work tournaments and things like that on the weekends. So we're going to have to really work hard on those two other areas if we're going to keep the momentum that we have with all the kids that are playing hockey. And it's special to see their faces when they get out there for the first time. So it's something that we're really proud of what we're doing, and we're also real proud that. As part of that, we're touching now close to 200,000 kids through the Clark County school system with street hockey. And so we started with the middle schools a year ago, and we had so many schools saying, hey, how do we get that in our school? And we extended it to all the elementary schools. So we'll hit 200,000 kids this year. And again, I really believe you put a stick in their hand, they'll fall in love with the game. And that's what we're looking to do.
You asked my favorite part. What I've seen is the reaction here is greater than I've ever seen in any other community. And I don't know if it's just the novelty of having the sports teams here, but the first person we put on the ground in Vegas was a vice president of community relations, Erin Wright. And she started going out and meeting with people in the community, and she kept coming back to us, telling us, you're just not going to believe the reception we get here. And then we started bringing other staff members and then a few coaches and our alumni network, and the response was just so overwhelming. And not that they don't get that response where we are right now, but it was at a whole different level. And we've brought some players here for a few events, and they're rock stars. And look, they're athletes. They have ego. So when they go to an event and the response is what it is, it encourages them to do more. So you talked about what's in their contract, and everybody has that. But when they go out to an event and they get that type of response from the community, it only fosters the desire to do more. So I'm really excited for when the team can get on the ground. Just to tie it up for me, one of the areas, there are a lot of great things about this community, and there's some areas that we need help here. And one of the causes that's very important to the Raider family is to end domestic violence and to support victims of domestic violence. And it stems from an incident that occurred to the daughter of one of our Hall of Fame players a couple decades ago, and that was Fred Bolitnikoff's daughter, Tracy. And so that family started a foundation that we've supported for years and helped grow, and there's not a lot of that support in Nevada. It's one of the areas that they're lacking, and so we've been able to reach out to the entities that do exist. There's an entity called Safe Nest that's doing a great job, and we've done a lot with them, and that'll be a platform that you'll see the Raiders get behind very strongly when we're actually on the ground here.
Well, when I first got here, one of my first meetings with my bosses, Jim and Bill, and they hammered into me in no uncertain terms that this town is all about the community. And then the second verse was, they looked at me and said, we want you to be just as successful as the Golden Knights are. And I'm like, oh, gee, thanks. But however, in a shortened season last year, we're going to pat ourselves in the back. We put in over 400 hours of community efforts, both appearances and in programs. It's one of, I said before, it's one of the hallmarks of our league from the very founding 23 years ago. We know we have to grow it at a grassroots. So a lot of our community is based upon young kids. Yeah, everybody takes care of the best AAU teams in states, in towns. We're going much deeper than that. We're going down into the grammar schools. We know that we have to grow basketball. Basketball is played, you only need a pair of shoes to play basketball. So if we can embrace them, and we have a health fitness programs going on in the high schools. We had over 600 schools apply for our fitness program in the contest. We have multiple programs going on, and we're going to continue such. So I think you're going to see a lot more of us, especially as the seasons are getting expanded. It's a commitment of our franchise. It's a commitment of our league. We've been founded on community service, and you're going to see a lot more of us.
Recently, over the past couple of years, we've really increased our focus in the community. It's always been something that we've been proud of with the variety of nonprofit organizations and things throughout our tenure here in Las Vegas. But knowing that we were headed to a new facility and going to take advantage of what that's going to bring us, we promoted from within and really concentrated on having one sole person that was going to run with it. And she was going to take a passion of what she had and really focus on more of the community efforts. Again, with our 70 home game schedule, we are able to have nights where we concentrate on a specific nonprofit, and we do this frequently throughout the season. We have the much like Jeff said at the Speedway, we have nonprofit organizations that are able to come out and work in concession stands and to earn money for their organizations. We still partner with Major League Baseball in the RBI program, returning baseball to inner cities, and concentrate on doing that throughout. And with the arrival of what we have opening here in April, we're going to be able to continue that and do more. So we're really thankful that we're given this opportunity. And there's really the way that communities come together and amongst professional sports and all sports for that matter. It's unique. I can go to a Golden Knights game and run into 20 different friends. We're selling season tickets where people are buying seats based upon where their friends are buying. These social atmospheres and interaction with everybody just really creates a really healthy community. And so proud that this is happening. You can't go to a Lights game and not be excited when you walk in and everybody is passionate and about the sport they're going to see and screaming and yelling, waving their scarves and everything else. So we all have this. We all have this impact in the city, and really thankful for the opportunities that we get to do and put out there and help where we can.
So I'm proud that we've gotten to the same place and the same end result, but we've taken a very unique approach at the Lights that I'm proud of, and that is we partner with ABC Hyundai here locally, and we created the $5 Give Back program. And instead of us deciding what causes are important to us, we're letting our fans decide what causes are important to them. So we've created a program where any 501c3 or any charitable cause, as long as the money stays here in Southern Nevada, we'll give anyone a code. And anyone who buys a ticket online, we will immediately donate $5 back to that. So we want our fans to decide how we can grow the community, because we know there's a lot of smaller causes out there that are very passion points to individuals that don't always get the recognition. And so we're creating a different approach to do that. And it'll sound like a shameless plug, but we just announced a partnership with Nevada State College in BART, and we were talking this morning about how we can help with this. And as part of the program, we're going to create a code. Anyone, when you come to our game, buy a ticket online and put in state, and $5 will immediately go back. And we were talking about the different types of programs we can do. We can now go build those dorms. We can go build scholarships. We can do something that has a passion point in a community and use the Lights as a way to do that. So we're really proud of letting you, the fans, speak as to how we should be helping the community.
One thing I'm very jealous of, everyone up here has got access to their athletes. We only get our athletes in town for 2 weekends out of the year, and Bill and Carrie in particular, what your players have done in the community is nothing short of amazing. Without having athletes accessible to us, we've been able to do a few things. Our Speedway Children's Charities, which we incorporated in 1999, we've given more than $4 million to charities in this community since 1999. We just gave away a little more than $250,000 to about 65 local charities. Every dime that our charity raises stays here in Southern Nevada and goes to a child-related cause. Children are very important to us. As you can probably tell, that every single event that we have, kids 12 and under come in free, with the exception of the 2 NASCAR Cup races, and children get in for $10 to the Cup races. So we try to do as much for children. And being a motorsports facility, it's also important to us that we can do something that promotes driver safety. And we've got 2 really big programs that we have. One is called our Midnight Mayhem program. It allows you to bring your own car to our drag strip and you can race it. We do it about once a month. It's seriously, you can come out and do that. You can race against your friend, whatever you want to do. And what this does, we found out that there was an underground group of people doing a lot of illegal street racing back in the late 90s here. And it was a way to get people off the street. And it only costs $10 to bring your car out and race it. You can make 3, 4, 5 runs, as many as you want to. So we think we've helped make the streets safer there. And one other program that we are so proud to be involved with is a program called Driver's Edge. Now, it's not Driver's Ed, it's Driver's Edge. they want you need to have your driver's license or at least your learner's permit, but they teach you how to handle your car under adverse circumstances. Does a kid run out in front of you chasing his ball, or a dog run out in front of your car, or you hit a wet road? How do you handle your vehicle in those situations? And we get teenagers who come out and do this program, and we donate our facility to the folks at Driver's Edge to do this, and we've partnered with them for almost 20 years. And we really like to believe that both of those programs are helping keep our streets safer in addition to everything else that we're able to do.
I've been given the international sign for that's it. So another big round of applause for this amazing panel.
So we like to respect everybody's time, but how awesome was that? Want to give a shout out to the Las Vegas Aces, Risha? Please stand. Yeah, no, stand. Show these people. She can dunk. She can dunk. She can dunk, for real. I see Mr. Hamrick back there. You want a car, you got to see Mr. Hamrick. We love you. Great community. Great community leader right there. So listen, I also want to say one last thing. I mean, I'm always advocating for the Latin Chamber. That's my passion. I didn't know how strong we were. I knew we were strong, but man, recently I figured out how strong we really, really are. I'm running through the airport in Washington, D.C. a couple weeks ago, and I see Antonio Brown running. Like literally, I'm running by him. I said, Antonio, you got to come to Vegas for the Raiders. And now he's a Raider. Dude. Mark, we had a hand in that. We had a hand in that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I sure did. This was awesome. Guys, in front of you, if you could stand and grab your plaque and we could take a photo. This is from our heart, from the Latino community. Celebrates our colors and just love and hugs. That's what we're all about the Latino community, and we're just grateful. Dan, go ahead.
You know, thank you so much for being here. I'd like to point out Mr. Ken Evans, President of the Urban Chamber. Ken, let's give everybody a wave. Thank you for being here. Also, I think he just walked out, but the Consulate of Mexico is here as well. We'd also like to give him a shout as well. And if our Amigo ambassadors and our board members from the Latin Chamber would stand up, just be recognized real quick before we take this picture. Mr. Castro, yeah, thank you so much. Mr. Frank Canales, Daniel Johnson, and we also have from ESPN Deportes, Mr. Sam Loya. So thank you for everything you've done. As we take this picture, as we get ready to take this picture, just one complaint. Come on, Peter. I just have one complaint, and that's that my wife and daughter have taken over my man cave. Now it's a woman cave, and all they do is watch the Golden Knights because they have this, because they have this big crush on Pierre Belmar. So I don't even get to watch my own TV. But thank you for being here today. God's love and God's peace.
Yeah, there you go. Mark, get in here with us. Mark, get in here with us. There you go. Everybody in? Good? Thank you, Amy. Guys,